Hey, what's happening, guys? This is Rob of Rule of Two Review. Welcome back to the channel. And today's obviously a different kind of video. You saw the thumbnail and the title. You know the rabbit hole that we're going down today. So the conversation's obviously going to be a little bit different. We're talking about the big thing going on right now with YouTube and COPPA, the Child Online Privacy Protection Act, this huge, like, catastrophic meteor that's just cascading towards YouTube and is ready to just go Armageddon style and destroy the earth that is YouTube. And then, of course, all of the people like myself who are content creators. And everything is potentially in jeopardy. Everything is crazy. Everyone is talking about it. I'm very late to the party on this conversation for sure. But, you know, I finally just kind of really started digging into it last night. And so I felt it was something that I actually did want to talk about, mostly because I couldn't stop. Once I started kind of down the path of what this whole thing really is, that's when I realized that I just felt like I needed to talk about it. It's really funny, too, because for the past few weeks, like, I knew something was going on. You can't really, like, be on the internet or even be a YouTuber and be completely oblivious to it. I knew that COPPA was a thing. I knew that it was affecting YouTube or going to affect change. And I had, like, randomly pulled up one or two videos by some people and just kind of like let a conversation about it sort of happen in the background while I wasn't paying too much attention. Most YouTube I honestly watch is just stuff I'm listening to while I'm gaming or sometimes while I'm working. It depends on that one. But that's really kind of how I ingest YouTube and other YouTubers, both friends of mine and people who I don't know, like big YouTubers. So I think like, you know, Jim Sterling's video and Review Tech USA had made a couple videos or something on it. And those are some of the ones that I had just sort of sparsely listened to without really being dedicated. And so I was like, yeah, COPPA, something about protecting kids. It's going to change YouTube. That kind of sucks. But I've kind of listened to them with the general philosophy in my brain that I would clearly be safe from this whole thing, right? I never thought that, you know, Rule of Two Review and Rob's channel could possibly be in jeopardy because it's like, I'm not a kid's channel, so I'm probably fine. But that changed when I really, like I said, started looking into it. Last night was weird because I went to band rehearsal. We have to do band rehearsals pretty late nowadays, and so it was like pitch black, 10 o'clock when I was coming home. And came home, ate a much later dinner than I prefer because I have no choice on nights where I have late band rehearsal. And I don't know what it was, but it was, I just happened to pull up a video on it and actually kind of watch and pay attention to it a little bit. And I was like, wow, this actually sounds like the rules are written vague enough and the FTC's kind of focus on this is strong enough that I could sort of see my channel fitting pretty easily within this window, you know, within this target of attack that is what the FCC is trying to enforce with COPPA, and it started to freak me out. Now, luckily, I'm in a pretty lucky position when it comes to doing YouTube in the sense that when I say it freaks me out, it doesn't freak me out for, like, my livelihood and my overall future for myself. Just for what might be happening with the channel and Rule of Two Review, potentially, and I'll get more into that stuff in a couple minutes here in this video, in this conversation. But what really kind of made the turn for me is, you know, I watched like a video or two on it that was just like, oh, this sounds kind of creepy. But I did stumble across two other videos that really hit home for me. The two videos I watched that were really the most important and the most well discussed would be a video from Chad Tronic. Hopefully a lot of you guys probably know who Chad Tronic is. He's a really funny guy, very much in like the vein of like Angry Video Game Nerd kind of stuff in a lot of ways. And then also one from somebody who claims to be a lawyer named Ian Corzine, and the two of them made videos that were like 20 minutes or something apiece, kind of discussing everything that they know about it, what happened with YouTube, what Chad had heard from people who work at YouTube about gaming channels specifically, and they really just go into detail. And the way they talk about it really makes it very scary for pretty much any channel that does anything in the category of gaming. I don't know, like, how much into trying to explain COPPA I need to do at this point. Like I said, everyone has talked about it, and I think that we've even gotten to the point where a lot of people seem like they're trying to ignore it, and a lot of people, again, including probably even some friends of mine, you know, fellow YouTubers and stuff who I know, I think are maybe trying to just, trying really hard to not let it affect them and feel like, oh, there's no way that we would be under attack from COPPA. Like, my gaming channel isn't geared towards kids, which they define as 12 and younger. So there's just no way, we should be fine. But like, again, I watched probably 10 or 15 or something videos last night, and they all definitely made it sound like, yeah, this could definitely affect any gaming channel. And again, specifically the ones from Chad Tronic and from Ian Corzine, which I want to link those below. You can feel free to watch it if you want. I think if any YouTubers, any fellow YouTubers, friends of mine, anyone stumbles upon this video in my conversation, I would recommend you for sure watch these two videos if you haven't already. Not because I don't think you don't understand what's going on. I'm sure you do. But I'm just saying that I found their descriptions the most kind of terrifying for my channel. I guess if I was kind of to go into the idea of what COPPA is, I mean, it's just, they're just worried about what YouTube had been doing. YouTube is so dumb. God damn it. YouTube is so freaking dumb. I can't even stand this. And the internet is dumb too. So I'm like retroactively angry at YouTube and also at the internet at large, right? Because COPPA's trying to say, hey, YouTube had been collecting data on kids who have been watching YouTube for however many years, and that's like against the law. That goes against COPPA. It violates COPPA. And because of that, they got into this whole legal battle with YouTube, and YouTube settled for like $170 million last year, which is insane to think about. And now because of that, because YouTube was doing something that was knowingly illegal and not allowed because, cookies are a thing that exists on the internet, internet search cookies. And so just even though they didn't allow kids under 13 to have a YouTube account, anyone can just pull up a YouTube video and watch. You can go to any website without an account and still like view that website, right? You don't have to have an account with that website. And so your cookies, your data, because we live in a data-filled world, is still being tracked on every single website you go to. YouTube is a platform that obviously not only cookies are being used when anyone of any age is using it, but also it's a visual video platform and there are advertisements. And so suddenly there was this huge conflict of interest of kids who were, 12 and under viewing YouTube and being succumbed to all sorts of different advertisements. And the idea is that a kid at that age that they define is not of an age where they are capable of discerning if something is an advertisement or not. And so their free will and the money of their, parents and their buying decisions and the way that they're, interpreting information coming at them is all at risk. And that it's basically, it could be seen as a way to manipulate or take advantage of young kids. And so COPPA was designed to basically protect that, which I do have to say, I 100% agree with. So let's be real. I'm not even the biggest fan of kids. I don't have kids. I don't ever want kids. Kids drive me crazy. But also, like, kids you got to protect. You got to look out for the kids. What about the children, right? And the base level idea is inherently good. Protect kids from scummy business practices. Absolutely. They are too young and honestly stupid to tell the difference. It's not their fault. They're just that young. And so what happened was freaking YouTube was just illegally still doing this. And they just kind of, they found a way, they found like a loophole around it for the last couple of years. And so they were doing it. But now COPPA is being like re-examined and rewritten, which I guess happens every decade or so. And because of that, they've found YouTube in serious violation of still doing this. And so now YouTube is finally telling us that by law, we're required to do this whole marking for children thing. And if you mark for children, it adversely, drastically, severely affects your channel. And then there's, of course, the threat of the FTC themselves and how they're coming after channels as well, individual channels. Like they've already gone after YouTube and they got $170 million from YouTube. So the government's just super happy about that. Hooray. And now YouTube and the FTC are just willing to throw all of us who just happen to have a channel on this website that has allowed us to safely do so for a decade, more than a decade. They're coming after us. Suddenly it's our responsibility. It's our fault. We're people who specialize in gaming or in sports or in knitting or in dance or in toys or in news, whatever your channel is about, you specialize in that thing. You probably don't specialize in being a huge video sharing site and collecting data and sharing that data with advertisers to make money, 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 money. None of us who have YouTube channels are that and do that and know the ins and outs of that. You know, I know about video games and Nintendo and Metroid, and Star Wars. These are the things that I know about. So I wasn't doing anything with anyone's data. No other YouTubers out there have been doing anything with anyone's data. I guess some kid-oriented YouTube channels have been going after kids in certain ways. But other than them, what about everybody else? You know, it's just not what I think they're trying to make it out to be. And so obviously I'm mad at YouTube for how they've illegally mishandled things for the past couple of years, and in doing so created an environment that allowed the 20 million YouTube channels out there to also kind of be inadvertently involved with this. Like, we're almost kind of a party to the crime that YouTube is doing because we had no idea, because YouTube opened up a window for us to do so ignorantly with no knowledge of what was going on. And so to me, really, obviously the blame just falls on them completely. None of us would do anything like this, like target and manipulate and lie to children on purpose. None of us were doing that. Okay, except for maybe the kids channels. And then there's also the thing about the creepy people, it's just all bad. That's all bad. So those people aside, the 99% of YouTube that isn't those people and those channels, none of us would do this kind of thing on purpose, right? Or maliciously. So there's that. Also, I feel like the whole thing is just a great representation of why the internet just kind of sucks nowadays anyway. And the data thing. We live in this world where everyone's got data, and data is tracked, and data is used against us, and we have a digital footprint that's everywhere. And so everyone knows everything about you and your browser history and what you're searching for and what you're buying and what you're watching and what you're listening to and who you're talking to and what you're talking about. And we all do it. We all use Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and Amazon, for shopping and stuff like that. So we all do it. And because the big tech industries of the world need all of our data, give us that data. Ooh, we want to sell to everybody because they need it so feverishly that cookies exist. And imagine if we just lived in a world where the internet existed, but there were no cookies. There was no data. There was no people buying and sharing and selling data and trying to target ads just right into that little sensor within your brain that says, ooh, they're going to buy my $10 product now. If that wasn't society, and if that wasn't the structure of business within the world, this wouldn't be a problem. So I kind of also just blame the shitty internet for being shitty. And the fact that, nowadays, because for me, when I go onto a musician site and I'm looking for new gear for my drum set, when I then go to Facebook, I see advertisements for drum shit all over Facebook. And YouTube obviously does the same thing. The fact that happens is kind of frustrating, and it's a little bit violating, and it kind of makes you sick when you really think about it. And that's also at the root of this, right? Just the fact that stuff is allowed is what made the FTC realize, oh, children are at risk at this because children use the internet too, with or without their parents' supervision. So parents also share some of the blame with this. So you crappy parents out there, screw you, man, because you're responsible for doing this to everybody. And so I'm getting off the rails here, and I'm just talking about COPPA and how stupid YouTube is and the internet and all these big companies, which is all true. But if we focus it back, let's bring it back to YouTube. Let's bring it back to my channel and gaming channels here. How am I perceiving this? What am I thinking? What am I worried about here? Honestly, I am worried that my channel is going to be affected because it's gaming, you guys. If you look at all the vagaries of how they describe what could be kids content, the whole situation, God, it sucks, man. It just really sucks. I stumbled across YouTube's official video on this from a week ago that I had no idea existed. And if you watched it, it has an eerie, depressing tone. It's like being scolded by a disappointed parent, and it's like being told what to do and go to your room because you're being punished. The vibe of it is very creepy, and it's very shitty, and it's annoying, and it's angering, and I just don't like it. I'm not going to blame the woman in the video necessarily, because for all we know, she's just an employee who was the one with tasked on going onto this video and reading the script that was written for her. Probably. So I don't want to attack that person. But I don't know. Maybe she was. Maybe she's the one behind it all. Maybe her job is to write the script and deliver it and to enforce it. So it could be her also. But whatever. Let's pretend it's not her and just say the video itself, the tone of the video, the script, and how they're delivering the message. I hate it. I freaking totally hate it. You know, obviously part of it is I just hate the message itself. And so there's no way to deliver it properly. But looking at that and how the FTC is describing everything, so many things are vaguely under attack here, and it's all about what the FTC and the government deems as like kid content. And it's like, and this whole idea of kid-friendly content and not kid-friendly content, what's frustrating to me is they clearly are not defining the line between kid-friendly and kid-targeted, because tons of shit on this planet is kid-friendly. To me, kid-friendly just means something that doesn't contain violence and nudity and swearing, okay? And so a cooking show is kid-friendly. A house buying show on Lifetime channel is kid-friendly. Morning talk shows are kid-friendly, okay? Because they don't have naked people and heads exploding and people saying shit and fuck all over the place. That's kid-friendly. My channel, you know, I just said bad words here, but my channel is a kid-friendly channel. But is it kid-oriented, right? And so, to me, kid-oriented is something like, you know, like the Teletubbies. Maybe I'm dating myself here. Sesame Street is kid-oriented. Teletubbies. When I think of YouTube, all of these toy channels are kid-oriented. Like, and I'm not trying to throw any fellow YouTube channels under the bus, but I'm just going to talk realistics here. Actual toy channels, you know, like that Ryan's kids toy review channel, like stuff like that, you know, the stupid Elsa dancing Disney princess stuff. Like, I'm sorry, those are targeted towards kids, and I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. The FTC is making it a bad thing. I previously never saw that as a bad thing. I just saw it as that's your demographic, that's your content, and it's fine. But that's different than something that just doesn't contain things that are bad. And so that's where it's like I look at my channel and I look at gaming, the way that they're trying to define kid-friendly stuff, you can tell that they're going to see the average person, the average adult, the average disconnected, you know, moron is going to look at something like video games, just that blanket statement of video games, as something for kids. And it's not even entirely wrong, but it's definitely not right either. And so they're going to see stuff in the category of video games is kid-targeted, kid-oriented, kid-friendly. The end. That's what it seems like to me. And so that means, like, a channel like mine, I mean, I talk about video games, you guys, and they say certain phrases and certain colors and certain pictures in your thumbnail and certain music. If you say the words like cool or whatever or fun, those words could be targeted. And it's like, well, you better have marked that for kids and destroyed the searchability of your video, the algorithm for your video, and the ability to have comments and likes and dislikes on your video because you said fun. And, or if you don't do that, but if we discover that you didn't mark it properly, then the video's going away, you're in trouble, and then you get into this whole thing of they could sue people for up to $40,000 per video. Stuff like that. Really scary verbiage that they're throwing around, and scary legal terminology that a lot of us are honestly just too stupid to understand. So we hear the big picture stuff of we'll sue you for $40,000 and we all get scared. And so it's just dumb. And it's like, look, man, I would talk about, if Super Mario Odyssey 2 is announced, I would want to make a video about Mario Odyssey, about Super Mario. Think about it, you guys. Super Mario, does Mario seem like a character that these people would think is kid-friendly and kid-oriented? Abso-damn-lutely. You bet your ass they would, because he also kind of is. That's the gray area here. Like, I get it. But also, the whole concept of gaming nowadays appeals more to adults, 20s and 30-somethings like myself and a lot of you guys, than kids. And I know that my demographic on my videos are not under 13 years old. Like, the vast majority, like probably 80 to 90%, are like 25 to 40 or something. And so, you know, will that stuff help? I don't know. Does making a statement that your videos aren't for kids help? Probably not. I don't really know, you know. But that's the thing. I'm going to want to talk about the next Mario game or the next Zelda game, You know, these things are in jeopardy. Star Wars. I love to talk about Star Wars. You know that the FTC and the adults of the world think video games, Mario, Zelda, Star Wars, Pokemon, these things they are going to put into the category of kid-friendly, of kid-targeted and kid-oriented, and stuff that they want to suppress violently on YouTube. They want it dead and gone. And they don't want anyone making money off of it, you know, including YouTube and including content creators. I mean, these things, Metroid, Samus, I don't know what that fits under. You guys know me. That's my bread and butter, man. That's my thing. That's what I love to do. That's what I'm here for is Metroid. And maybe I couldn't talk about Metroid because it would destroy my channel and destroy my videos. I don't know. And so, I don't know. Could this affect my channel? Yeah, I think it probably will affect my channel. And I don't really know yet what I'm going to do. I mean, obviously, there's still, you know, a month and a half for stuff to kind of settle down. And maybe we understand more. And maybe we learn that it's going to be fine. But, like, Chad Tronick said he talked to his YouTube contacts and confirmed that gaming is not safe. Whereas previously, a lot of us thought that gaming stuff was safe. But it's not. I mean, according to Chad, I believe him. I believe that all. It doesn't sound like gaming should be safe. And, you know, the thing is they expect you to make all of your prior content also marked kid-friendly or not kid-friendly, you know, to be honest about it, or to just turn your entire channel into a kid-friendly marked channel, which means you're just going to have no comments on your videos, and your videos aren't going to get watched by anybody. I mean, there's a list of things. They suppress the shit out of your stuff if it's marked for kid-friendly because they don't want it going out there. And, you know, they remove targeted ads, which, you know, is going to affect people's CPM and all this different stuff. And so, you know... what am I going to do with my channel? I don't know. I just don't know. And so here's the thing. I'm in a very enviable position overall because, yes, I am a YouTuber and I have a YouTube channel and it does pretty well for what it is. It's not huge, obviously, but it does well. And I do make money off of it, by the way, a little bit every month. But I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I've said it before, like, I have a really good job. I'm very lucky. I make really good money from my job. I'm getting ready to buy a house, you know, and it's not YouTube supporting that house purchase. It's my career. So I don't need YouTube to, like, live. I don't need it. I don't need the $150 I get every month to support myself. That's just, like, it's just extra money. It's just what it is, and it helps support my channel. Like, that's all it is, you know, and I don't do YouTube for the money. And so... for me, like, if I just made my channel listed as kid-friendly to just give in to these tyrants, it's not going to affect me to just no longer be making money on YouTube. Like, that part technically is fine. What does suck, though, is the suppression of the content. I think it would kill the channel just in terms of no one would see or watch it. And then it's like, what's the point? If no one's really watching your stuff... you know, why do it? And it's worse. It's different when you're starting out and you're getting low views because you're new and you're small and you're growing and your low views are still like climbing every couple of months. That's different. I'm used to getting, you know, an average of 2,000 views for my videos. And, you know, for big channels, that's not a lot. But for me, that's significant. 2,000 views is a lot. And because I get such strong viewership, the idea of cutting that into thirds... it's like, man, that hurts. That feels like such a step backwards as opposed to a step forward for new channels that it does make me think, I don't know, like either I give in and I turn this kid-friendly thing on for my channel and I just kill it dead, or I stop doing it. And maybe that's what I do. You know, this goes into effect in January. It's not long. It's not far from now. There's petitions and they're saying, oh, they're still listening until December 9th. And so you can leave a comment. And it's like, that stuff is good. I encourage you guys to do that for sure. But I have a firm personal belief, not to be a downer, that none of that stuff is going to matter. At this point, they've heard everything they need to hear. They know the deal. They've already been taking public comments. And so extending it for another 2 weeks just to add another 5 million comments to their comment page or whatever that is, you think that's going to make a difference? You think they already know that there's 10 million comments of people saying, we don't like this. You think another 5 million, they're going to be like, oh, we got another 5 million. Maybe this is a mistake. Maybe we shouldn't do this. It's not going to change anything. It's not. And I'm not a Debbie Downer, pessimistic kind of person, but petitions, change.org, and even FTC's own thing that they're saying where they're listening to public reaction, I just don't see it influencing. I think they already know what they need to know. They already know what decision they want to make. They know how much people don't like it, but I can't imagine that they care. So I just don't have a lot of faith in that. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, okay? So please don't mistake what I'm saying. You should do it. Do it. Please make your phone calls, leave your comments, sign your petitions. Because, it's better to be proactive than non-active, absolutely. I'm just saying my faith in it succeeding isn't very high. It didn't help with net neutrality, right? People were just as vocal about net neutrality. Look what happened. So there's no reason to think that this is going to make a difference either, unfortunately. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I've got a couple weeks to figure it out. And maybe things change. Maybe something changes. But if nothing changes and I learn that it is what it is, I don't know, that I might just stop doing the channel altogether, It sucks. I don't want to do it. Again, that's the thing. I can do it and I can still survive. I feel bad for other people who do this full time. People who maybe don't think that they're under fire. People who are trying to play ignorant to it, or people who are maybe putting their heads in the sand and they're just like, oh, I'm fine. It can't possibly be that bad. I'm worried for them because it does seem like, yeah, if you want to put a picture of Mario or a Pokemon or a Star Wars character in your thumbnail and talk about that stuff, they're going to come after it, And they might try to sue people for some money, and they might be shutting down your videos, and it might eventually terminate your channel. I don't know. And there are so many people that make a living on YouTube, and it's very scary, Arlo made a great video, and he's like, dude, I'm a big blue puppet. I am totally in jeopardy here, and he's right. He's very, very right. So anyway, this is a very long video. I'm rambling about all this stuff, but I found it interesting, man. I just think that this whole thing is crazy, and it's my whole thing about losing my channel isn't that it affects my livelihood, but it would be sad to me. I'm very proud of my YouTube channel. I'm very proud of Rule of Two Review. It's just a small little thing that I built with my no editing skills just to bullshit to you guys about video games, and Nintendo stuff. Nintendo, so kid friendly. They are so going to target Nintendo channels, man. And so that's the thing. And so I'm proud of my channel. And like I've, in 6 years, I've grown to almost 12,000 subscribers. For so many channels, that's really slow growth. For me, it's massive growth. And I see so many other channels struggling to do even that good. And so, and again, I average like 2,000 views on all my videos. So like I'm doing really well. And I like it and I'm proud of it and I enjoy it. It's fun. That's why I do it. But now this might just grind all that to a halt. So it would just be a casualty that would make me sad. I'm lucky that it won't affect my life, but I do worry about other people. And so at this point, I'm beating a dead horse. We know the deal. This whole thing sucks, and I wish it wasn't happening. I think that's the only way I can kind of put it. I can't imagine many people are even watching this video this long in the video. This is probably like half an hour at this point. So I don't know, man. I guess we'll see what happens. I hope that my fellow full-time YouTubers somehow make it through this okay. I hope that this thing becomes not as big of an issue as it seems, or maybe they lighten what they're trying to do, or who even knows. YouTube, get your head out of your ass. You guys are morons, and you created this for everybody, including yourself. And I honestly fear for YouTube. I think YouTube's going to go away. YouTube is done, man. It's just YouTube. I don't even know what to say. I just feel like I really feel like this could be the thing that's the beginning of the end. I just don't know how YouTube could survive after this. They've really gotten themselves in a bad situation, and they did it to themselves too, and they did it to all of us. That's the other thing, and it could affect how gaming companies. I mean, think of how much business is reliant upon people using YouTube to talk about their products and industries and stuff. It's crazy to think about. It's crazy, if it all goes away. So that's that. I'm just going to end this video. I'm not going to end it in a fancy way. I'm just going to say that hopefully it changes and gets better. I'm pretty sad. I'm a little bit worried about my channel, but we'll see over the next 6 weeks what happens and if anything changes or not. But for now, I'm calling it good. I'm going to stop talking about COPPA because it sucks. I'm going to stop talking about the COPPA because it's lame. And that's it. So fingers crossed for everyone. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.